to give the Beard Foundation's Humanitarian Award for this year. Please welcome, I hope, Jose Andres.
Hello, people of America, people of Chicago. I've been here before, but I've never been so nervous as I'm about to do. Introducing really an amazing person. I think as the restaurant people, we are in many ways some of the most generous people you can find anywhere. A lot of us, we are committing ourselves not only to cooking, but also to make a change, especially the people having a great meal out there. My friend Michel Nischan is one of those people. And believe me when I tell you that nobody is more generous than him. He's a friend of friends, and you know that that's hard to find sometimes. He's a chef, an amazing husband and father, an author, restaurateur, CEO. But Michel has led a life dedicated to others. And for more than 30 years, he has worked tirelessly to feed people healthy and wholesome meals. He really was one of the first chefs out there really asking the question about where the food comes from and how it was grown, years before even it became news. He believes that everyone from all walks of life deserves a good meal, and that food, where it comes from, how we prepare it, how we eat it, it's all interconnected. He feeds the few, but he's always been interested in feeding the many. He's often heard saying that food can fix anything, and he's proving it with his organization, Wholesome Wave. His mission is very easy: to change our food system so everybody will have access to affordable, healthy, and fresh food. His work has made it possible for people who rely on federal funding programs such as SNAP, what we know as food stamps, to buy the locally grown fresh products that we see at farmers markets, and in turn he's creating jobs and nurturing the farming industry. At the same time, he's working with doctors around the country to make sure that fruits and vegetables can almost become prescriptions, bringing good health and encouraging people to buy them and feed them to their families. Even he has the time to be training the new generation of chefs on policy, because he was the first one that realized that if we are going to be changing America, the only way to do it is changing the Farm Bill. And the way to change a Farm Bill that only seems is helping few corporations is by training those chefs, making sure that that Farm Bill one day will serve America equally. Just to finish, Michel, when you see his smile, he's able to light a dark room, people. When others see a problem, he only sees opportunity. And where others see this repair, he only sees a horizon of hope that will bring better food to everybody. I'm lucky to call this man a friend. I know many of you here in the audience are proud to call this man a friend. I'm so happy I met him, and I know he's changing the way America will feed itself in the years to come. People of America, Michel Nischan.
Thank you. Wow. The beautiful Jose Andres. What an honor to get an award from him. Humanitarian himself, just amazing. Thank you all for the community that you've given me through the 35 years that I have been in the kitchen. I do want to mention specific mentors. The one and only Drew Nieporent is here tonight and really opened a lot of doors for me and taught me how to really elevate my voice. So thank you, Drew. The late Bernie Shimmerman, Steve Hall from Interstate Hotels, my childhood hero, Jacques Pepin, and the entire family at Wholesome Wave that really makes it possible for communities in poverty, urban, rural, north, south, east, and west, to actually have a chance at putting some great food on the table. But most importantly, there are some folks here in the room that know my wife, Michel Nischan. She's right here. And yeah, you should whistle. She is the life of everybody's party, but most importantly for me, the true light of my life. The world of change is tough. It's as tough as working in restaurants. I was doing both at the same time. She helped me keep my ego in check, remember what was important, and really helped me imagine that change could be possible, and I love you for that, and you are beautiful. Best years of my life. 31 years in June 14th. I do want to kind of put things in the context of bringing things back to James Beard, who I believe once probably asked himself the question, through the lens of really beautiful food, what should the new normal look like? Because when he and Pierre Fernet and Julia Child and all those folks really started working, food looked a lot different than it does today. And if it wasn't for him asking that question and getting the ball moving, I don't think we'd be having this conversation. So I'd love to answer his question by asking a few questions for you all based on just the humanitarian nature of the culinary community. Has anybody seen Jose Andres in the presence of countless Haitian families, working with them in a ravaged nation to elevate their voices through the beauty of their own culture and food? It's a remarkable thing to behold. Or Tom Colicchio working the halls of Congress to make sure that every man, woman, and child in America has a chance at a good future through food. Or Marcus Samuelsson restoring Harlem by preserving the important parts of it instead of going for regentrification. All of these things are a new normal through food. Have you ever heard Sean Brock talk about vegetables in a way that made you wish you were an heirloom carrot? He's one of the most eloquent people in the world. It's just amazing. Or Rick Bayless hold a poblano pepper like it's a 23-year-old bottle of Pappy Van Winkle, you know? Or the joy that he gets in triggering loans and grants to many, many small and mid-sized farmers, immigrants and refugees, so that they and their families can have a better life. All of us are humanitarians in this room. All of these acts represent the new normal through food that I really believe James would have loved. And have you heard about the Atlanta gang? I mean, listen, we have Atchison, Quatrano, Gillespie, Satterfield, Latham, and more. They made farm to table in Georgia an everyday word. They don't have to put it on their menus, and still they work to see that people in Atlanta, urban and rural, that can't afford to put good food on their table do that. They donate their time, they donate their talent, they give, and they make Wholesome Wave Georgia possible. They're amazing. There's a Seattle gang, there's a Philly gang, there's a Hawaii gang, Bay Area gangs, a Madison gang, Nashville, Louisville, Bentonville gang. There's so many chefs now that are working together, and instead of competing, really coming together to change the world through food, and it's an amazing thing. I mean, hell, the Chicago gang has so many players: Rick Bayless, Paul Kahn, Stephanie Izar, Grant Achatz, Randy Zweiban. There's so many of them that I'm not going to mention them. Just go out while you're here and eat in their restaurants. Taste the way that they've changed Chicago over the last 30 years. It's pretty remarkable stuff. Anyway, regarding change, from 1981, when my first farm-to-table acquisition was free roadside asparagus, and it was the only farm-to-table acquisition that year, to today, when we see this evolving new normal, there were two defining moments for me. First, when Lori and my son Chris was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and we learned that what we did with his food would give him his best chance at life. That was a defining moment. And second, when the late, great Michael Batterberry, rest his soul and bless his heart, introduced me to my dear friend and colleague, Gus Schumacher, who is here tonight, former Undersecretary of Agriculture in the Clinton terms. Together, Gus and I believe that by introducing consumers in poverty to small and mid-sized farmers, that those two groups could become heroes of a changed food system. With Gus and I together, Wholesome Wave was born. Legislation passed last year in the Farm Bill, doubling food stamps at farmers markets, and our shared dream is fast becoming a pretty scaled reality. It's cool, man. In a word, for those of you that have hung out with us before, it's pretty succulente, which is Spanglish for really awesome. Anyway, this is a dream that my mother would have loved, and my sister Teresa is here tonight, whom I love dearly. Thanks, Mom, for teaching me how to love the entire world through food. I'm blessed to be in this community because so many of you believe in the same thing. And finally, back to James. I believe you asked yourself the question through the lens of food, what should normal look like? And we all in this room tonight hope that you find what you see today very, very delicious. Thank you, and God bless you all.